Hey guys, it's Car Guy 11. It's hard to believe, but my 2020 Supra is 5 years old already. I got it when it first came out in 2019, so August of 2019 or so, one of the first GR Supras to hit the market. It was awesome to get, and of course in this beautiful downshift blue color. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about my ownership experience, if I should keep it or if it should go, and a couple updates that just happened actually by taking my car into the dealership. So I'll explain more in a bit. So I have just over 25,000 miles on my 5-year-old Supra, so about 5,000 miles a year, which is pretty good, and this speaks to how comfortable and fun this car is to drive. I've taken it on many adventures, long trips, fun roads, and also have covered that on my channel as well. Also have done track videos with this car, road course, autocross, and drag strip, and it performed well in all of those. Again, very fun car, very tossable, nice and nimble, and of course you can easily get that rear out and have some drifting fun. So guys, my ownership experience of my 2020 GR Supra over the last 5 years has been overall excellent. A very reliable car, and I will direct you to my 2020 Supra playlist on the channel. I'll put a card above and in the description below for all the details. But overall, like I said, I've been very happy with this car. It still gets all the looks. It's a relatively rare car even after 5 years on the road today. Not all that many have been built, so it's still very unique on the road, and people ask about it all the time, especially in this 1 year only downshift blue color. But as for the reliability, it's actually been very good. There have been several recalls, and I will talk about this one a little later. Just maintenance wise, oil changes, brake fluid change, air filter change, and the pollen cabin air filter as well. And of course tires. But other than that, the brakes are still good. Haven't had any other major services done on this vehicle. So let's take a drive, and I'll talk about the biggest thing that actually went wrong with this car. Or I shouldn't say wrong, but there were quite a few recalls. And mostly the recalls are, as typical in modern day vehicles, software related. There have been several software updates and in the form of a recall that have addressed different things on the car. The brakes, the communications, I forget everything, but again, there were several. So with a vehicle like this that people like to tune, that people like to modify, it gets dicey because you will end up wiping your ECU tune if you chose to do that. In my case, I don't. I have a piggyback JB Plus tuner, so I'm not affected by those. But there are benefits as well with these recalls, because not only do they address the recalled item, it updates every computer in your whole vehicle when they do these recalls, because it's a wholesale. Anything that is outdated gets the update. So like I said, that's good and bad. Let me do a nice acceleration here. Still brings a smile to my face. I am in sport mode right now. I actually just got another recall. It wasn't actually called a recall, it was called a service campaign or something for communication with the telemetric system in this BMW iDrive system. Well, you may not think that's important, but a few years ago I did have a problem after another recall where it lost communication. It was not able to get any of the weather. But since this is a BMW system, even Apple CarPlay is tied to a license on the server, and it will not function if it doesn't have a communication link. So this latest recall is to address the 3G, 4G cell, 5G cell signal communication with the telemetrics on this vehicle. So I think it is important to get done. But of course, if you have a tune and you are going to have to re-unlock your ECU and all that, I'd probably pass. But in my case, I wanted to make sure I had my Apple CarPlay and everything, so I got it done right at the 5-year mark, my last time servicing it at the dealer, likely, and they did update the computer. So I did find some changes when they updated all the modules on the car to the latest, and you know, it's good and bad. It's good and bad. Let me start with the good. I find the transmission is smoother, especially when cold, and it's more responsive. It doesn't feel like there's a delay. Maybe that's the throttle mapping. But I do appreciate those changes. But if you pull a paddle when you're in drive and you know, it goes into temporary manual, it will now upshift at red line where it didn't before. So I'll go in second here, and it shifted into third by itself instead of me having to do that. Now, when you go into the manual gate, it will still hold gears, but that was a change I've noticed since this update. So that's probably actually good if you're drag racing, or street racing, I should say, where you won't be caught not being able to shift up, but you want to start in, like, say, second gear. I think it's a good thing, and then, of course, you can still hold gears by placing it into full manual mode. But in addition, with this transmission update, I've noticed if you shifted near red line manually, it would rev hang, and now they've solved that. So I will try to demonstrate that for you at the stop here. That was a very annoying thing because it would actually wait to shift like a second if you caught red line. So we're at first gear here. Just a hair delay, but much quicker. So that was a big improvement. These are positives from this recall that I went in for. I believe the steering is a tad heavier. It's kind of hard to tell. It's subtle, but that's a welcome change as well. And then as far as the suspension is concerned, I have, you know, the adjustable suspension. I'll go into normal mode here. I believe it's a little bit more supple in normal mode now, a little bit more comfortable. So that's also a welcome change. Also, I believe the stereo sounds a little better as well. It's a little clearer, not as muffled. So a lot of little subtle tweaks and changes, probably from the model year changes. One of the 2024 changes was actually to the suspension to be more supple. So I believe you get those changes by doing these updates. You get all the latest software improvements. And now some of the negatives. Well, I like to make some changes to the settings, and I've done many videos with Beamer Code, the app that you can control different settings. I've made Sport Plus. I've made Normal Plus for more comfortable. Turned off the auto stop start, and many other changes to the vehicle. It's a very easy program to use with an OBD2 dongle. But starting in 2024, you are no longer able to code off the auto stop start memory. So previously it would remember if you had it off, it would stay off on every startup. Now it defaults to on, unfortunately. But there is a little workaround. I have my car Beamer coded to start in Sport Individual. So in any sport mode, it will not kick in the auto stop start. That's one solution, but unfortunately, if you go back into normal mode, the stop start will go back to default on, and you have to hit the button in the console here to turn it off. Honestly, it's not that big a deal. It's pretty smooth when it does turn off and turn back on, and then the button's right here on the center console to turn that feature off. But I feel like with the other changes, it's well worth doing them, even though I lost that permanent auto stop off. So guys, please comment below your experience with your Supra. Are you taking it in for these recalls, or do you have yours tuned? And has yours been reliable? I also haven't had the oil consumption issues that I've heard some people have. I think they're more on the 2021 models. But overall, I'm very happy with this car, and yes, I am planning on keeping it because it is still rare. It's still coveted. I feel like people have gotten over the BMW thing when it first came out. There was a lot of hate for the Supra, but now I think people are starting to appreciate it. And really, there's nothing else that has come out that would make me change. So I'm really happy with it. I think this is going to be a collectible car, especially once they end production, probably in a year or so here with these models. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more. Be sure to check out my Supra playlist on the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.